And actually, the agenda didn't seem to be changed.
Yeah, it didn't really
Just the addition. Okay, seeing no public here, it's from the new town, but they're on our agenda, so. Okay, Amanda, talk about the minutes.
There were a couple changes. I dated them for the date I started the minutes and I fixed that, so that's all correct. I didn't get any other changes, so I think they seem to be pretty all right. I will say the other changes that Lynn and Mary sent, thank you. So make a motion to.
Okay, I'll entertain that motion. Tammy makes the motion to approve the minutes as presented, seconded by Michael. Any other discussion? And no discussion, I'll accept a vote. All those in favor of accepting the minutes? Okay, any opposition? No. Unanimous. Okay. Well, in that record time, we're gonna move on to you, Katie.
Right, so did you want me, let's see what it says here, so this is. Okay, so the treasurer's report is just the traditional report, not the board. It's not the budget presentation of the budget. Okay, perfect, so these are the financials for May 13th through June 12th. The library remains in good financial standing, and there's some comparison between now and 2022, but everything is relatively comparable and in good position. We are over, since we are 45% of the year complete, we would like the bottom lines to reflect that percentage, and most do. There's just a few subcategories like technology and communications, which we've been hearing about as a financial stressor at 55.73%. Programming and planning is at 79.98, human resources, staff development 66.88, and workers' comp at 124.53%. Although some of these subcategories are over, the bottom lines are essentially at 45%. So even though some of the subcategories are high, it doesn't change the budget dramatically. Some expenses listed in both the warrant and the off warrant. And then in terms of the budget committee, we did have our third and final meeting, and we did come to what the.
Well, I think we're gonna, I mean, you can talk about it, but you're on the agenda.
Right, I'm just reading these notes.
Oh.
So the committee did come to a consensus on a budget that we felt comfortable moving forward. And that is what I have prior to the motions, unless anyone has.
I have one question, it's probably a Jill question more than a Kate question, but I was looking, so the insurance, where it says under, like with the, by the physical plant and stuff, we budgeted $37,500 for insurance. And we've only laid out 3,300. So is that an insurance that gets paid at the end of the year?
What's this line right here? Yeah, it's actually negative. That's what I was wondering. It's negative 3,200 something, and that's so yes, it's paid at the end of the year, but we do get a dividend from the previous year. So right now we're at negative, but we will.
So negative means positive.
Negative means positive, yes, because it's revenue. We've received revenue.
$3,300 to the good.
Okay, so that's the dividend.
That's the dividend that's been, we deposit that in the income side because it's really an offset for the expense. It's not truly a real revenue source.
It's a negative expense.
It's a negative expense.
And so at the end of the year is when you pay whatever
We
insurance
pay that
is.
at the end of the year. It's an October 1 renewal.
Gotcha. Thank you.
And I have a question about the workers' comp. So it's at 124%.
Yeah.
That means it went up. That's gonna finish the year over budget.
It's gonna finish, the year is it's done, we're done with it for the year and it's over budget. And we've been in touch with them and it's accurate.
And it's not because somebody's on workers' comp. This is
No,
just
no.
This is just the workers'
This
comp
is just
insurance.
The workers' comp insurance.
So to that, so the 45% of the year is complete. Technology and communications, 55%. So, and then programming and planning, 79%.
Yeah.
And so those are all over. I mean,
Don't worry about those
No, not
because
worry.
they're expensive. So technology, we have this AV project that's in there, that's been paid, it's paid up front. Now, we will have some increased technology expenses that probably will make that number go up, but where it is right now at 45%, I'm not concerned about. In the programming and planning, it's because we're starting to pay things for the summer. So most of our programming is a huge chunk of our programs are in the summer. So we're on target for those areas. But in terms of like a strict, if you were to divide it by 12 months, we are over where it would be if we were spending the exact same amount each month.
it's more for me to like
Sure.
understand like the whole
Absolutely.
layout here. Thank you.
Yep, so a lot of those even out over the course of the year.
Yeah, the big number to pay attention to that drives a lot of this is salaries. Because, so it says we're at 40.49%, but if we're supposed to be at 45%, because that budget line is so large, that's gonna be a huge chunk of savings. So that's the piece that will drive the bottom line at the end of the year. The most. Okay, are there any other questions before making the motions?
We'll entertain a motion. Why don't we do it off warrant first to accept the off warrant? Mary made the motion. Anyone second it? Okay, Charlie. Any more discussion on that motion, which is to accept the off warrant in the amount of 106,388.59 for the period of May 13th through June 12th, 2023. Any discussion? Those in favor? Nobody opposed? Passes unanimously. I will also accept the motion on signing the warrant. We get Mary and then Charlie seconds it. Okay, the motion is to authorize the signing of the warrant dated June 12th in the amount of $32,481.59. Any discussion on that? Vote, all those in favor? Unanimously passes. Okay, now I'll entertain the third motion in the treasurer's report to approve the financials with 45% of the year over as presented. We want to make that. Michael got his hand up quickly on that. Any second? That's Charlie. A sweep of seconds. Okay, all those, and any more discussion on the financials? Not on the vote, all those in favor? Unanimously passes. Okay, thanks a lot. Problem. Now we'll go to committee reports. Michael.
No committee meeting as far as I know, unless somebody had a meeting when I wasn't here.
We had a double secret one.
Good, then you can.
Good,
report on
really.
it.
Have a good one.
Tell me what you did.
No report from admin because there was no committee meeting. Services, same thing, I'm guessing,
We
right?
didn't have a services committee meeting, but I had mentioned to Jill, since the services committee has the strategic planning as part of its responsibility. I would just give a little recap of where we are with that. And I'm sure Jill's will add to it as her directors. So we've completed all of the facilitated work group meetings. So we're coming into the home stretch, I guess. Maxine and Erica are going to provide a draft report back to the work group by the end of June, which we're getting close to. And then we need to respond to them with any edits by the end of July. And then they will be presenting to the board in September our final report or final product for a strategic plan, which we've come to learn gets tweaked along the way regularly. So, the board sees major issues that you'll have opportunity to participate. And then there will be a community advisory council meeting where I believe the plan will be presented to them, and that will be in October. And one of the things that we talked about at our work meetings, and by the way, we're gonna have another work meeting that won't be facilitated, just to get our prayers through, I believe. But one of the things we spoke about was with the Community Advisory Council, it would be great to maintain that. So there's a third meeting in terms of this planning process with the consultants, but we're hoping to continue that and hoping that the participants will continue with us.
Just one point of clarification, the consultants are not at that meeting, that's us giving the presentation to
To the Community Advisory Council, sorry, I didn't know. So we'll be presenting that.
There you go.
Even more exciting.
the work group.
Yeah. And that was pretty much a high level overview. I don't know if anybody has questions or.
I have to say that it's been delightful to work with them. Like
Yes.
they, in that work group, they really kept us on task. It felt like we were accomplishing things and it moved ahead they
Very efficient.
very efficient, but it didn't feel rushed. I mean, it was well thought out and really a great group to be in. And I mean, your staff really were terrific. I mean, which is no surprise, but for me as a board member, it was really the most interaction I've had with staff.
Yeah.
Yes, it was,
Enjoyable.
Yeah. It was really good. So. And I know that thanks to them. Yeah, thanks to them, because it's a lot to take on, because we had assignments and we did.
Yeah, yes. And Julianne Price, probably still running her. She's been part of the work
Okay,
too,
good.
so it's been a nice collaboration with people that have very different. Yeah.
Well, thanks. Okay, facilities committee, Charlie.
So no formal report, but that's kind of still a work in process. We got the cost estimates we got from Jay, so it's still on some kind of questions back to you for him. Just kind of follow along there.
I thought that there was something
I
that
spoke
was
with
gonna
Jay.
be okay, let's.
I
talk about-
spoke with Jay today to get an update. I said, I'm back, so I need an update before tonight. He did send revised estimates, but too late for me to look at. Just before 6, he said he would get us something. He was getting the report. He has done another one of these promises that it would be done by the end of the week. He was gonna have a rough draft of a report. I don't know, Jill, if anything came in since 5 o'clock. He apologizes. He said where he made the mistake was grossly underestimating getting information from outside vendors such as NYSERDA and the power companies and the utilities and those where he's trying to get information to do that. That's been a problem. And then he's had some personal problems that he's had to deal with. But he's gonna push to get the thing done. And I will push him to get the thing done.
So he did send an updated budget, which I'll try to look through in a minute.
Yeah, I saw that and I started looking at it, but it wasn't enough time for me to.
Okay, it was during that meeting, so, but it looks like he sent over a document about the roof. and
Okay.
the exterior of the building. So I have kind of a draft of
Okay,
all the
so
things that we
draft,
talked about with him,
yeah.
the trim and the fascia, the ephes and the roof. So are those numbers looking like the second round of estimates that he gave? I'm gonna have to look.
Okay.
Because
Okay, I'm gonna play the role that I played when I was an architect. And the estimates you get at this stage are high. They always are, because they want to be safe. You will never get mad at them for the costs coming in lower, but you will if they come in higher. And when I look at it, when I look at contingency upon contingency upon contingency, they add up and it becomes difficult. When I used to volunteer at the school district for their planning, and we used to get estimates from the construction manager at these stages, I told the superintendent, just knock off 20%, and that's roughly where you're gonna come in, because they want to look good and want you under budget. So there's a lot that's not known here, so you need to have contingencies, but I think they're comfortable.
So the one question I have, and again, it could be a you and a Jill question, but Jill has to apply for a construction grant by a certain deadline. And so we've been waiting and waiting and waiting on the estimates, and I don't know if that factors into, I'm assuming it factors into the construction.
It factors
grant.
into it,
So you
and
have to have something to base it
yes,
on. Yes.
and I'll work with Jill to put that together, okay? At this point, I'm inclined to use the numbers that we consider safe.
so I did get clarification, and we can't use those numbers. We need an estimate from a contractor, so we can.
For the work,
To apply
but it
for the
hasn't been
grant.
designed.
So it's just a real guesstimate, but I've had clarification from DLD.
Then we'll
So
work on
we
that.
can work on that. Sometimes architects will have arranged, relationships
We
with
can,
contractors.
yes, we can work on that.
It's such a guesstimate.
That's like you telling me that you want to redo your kitchen, and it can be anywhere from 40,000 to 150,000.
Right.
Did the backflow preventer get installed
Yes,
yesterday?
Yes,
Oh, my.
I came in yesterday, I read in one of the notes somewhere when I came back that it was being done yesterday. I came over around 10:30 yesterday morning, the one in here was already installed, and they were working on the other one. We still need the certifications, those aren't done yet, but we'll.
And then we have to notify the town.
Yep, once the certification. John, you
Joe,
sent
if
it
I
over.
wanna bring my family and friends to see that, where would we go in the morning?
That's gonna be a program.
Well, it's behind a locked door in the sprinkler
Okay,
system
good,
room.
good.
and then-
It's nice and shiny.
I've heard an awful lot about this, so I just have some nice to
I can bring you back to the maintenance area.
Good, I'd like to do that.
I think we should all have a tour of this,
Yeah, really.
$7,000 back.
Except I didn't bring my keys today, so
Ah.
I can't.
And I didn't either, and I have you this one. So, Okay, well, thank you. So now the budget committee, it's all back to you, Katie.
All right,
Katie,
so,
excellent.
oh, thank you.
That was very good.
Hopefully you
Very
feel the
good.
same after I talk about it.
Very
We'll
good.
see. Well, first, let's just take a quick look at the budget itself, and I'll just do a quick overview, although I'm sure people probably can gather what's going on. So at the top, we have the revenue, and then the blue highlighted column is the preliminary operating budget. And then at the bottom, we see the grand total expenditures, again, with the blue highlighted column being the anticipated budget that we're going with at this point. Although the percent change is there, it's not really an essential element because there are just changes that took place, like separating out what did we separate out? The reserve budget, we took that out of the operating budget. So where we had combined them last year, we separated them back out again, just so that there would be clarity as far as what are the taxpayers paying additional versus looking at these giant numbers and seeing huge percentage changes, but it not being something that the community needs to really acknowledge because it doesn't affect the amount of money that they're paying. Is that accurate?
The money is already in our reserves, this is money.
So they're not voting on that money because that money is already here. So we felt like it created confusion, and that's why we diverted that account and just separated the two so that it was very clear, this is the money that we're asking the community for in order to operate the library. So before there's questions, let's just go up to my notes and I'll just go over some of the highlights to the budget that you see. A big ticket item was the building conditions survey, and because that was conducted and yielded an outline of significant capital projects that we are going to have to dip into those reserve funds, money that we have been kind of squirreling away for this sort of project. But we also will still apply about $100,000 will replenish into the reserves so that we can keep this up. With the addition of the proposed construction grant, that should cover those finances. Here you see some of the main costs for the jobs that will need to be done on the building. So then here's the information about the construction grant that will offset and defray the amount that we'll have to remove from the capital reserves. We've already approached the state and county legislatures, and this amount is not in the budget because we have received no confirmation. So we're hopeful, but we're not going to count on it because it's not a guarantee. So we don't want to assume and then fall short because we aren't receiving the funding that we're requesting. We're only proposing a 2.04% increase in the operating budget, which is under the tax cap. And that same exact amount is applied to both Skodak and East Greenbush. There's, with the technology position and other shifts in staffing, the reconfiguration is giving us some savings. So then they're gonna take that money from what we're saving by combining or changing some of the positions and then put that into technology so that that can defray the very expensive cost for the estimates that we received. One of the important items that we discussed was, yes, we want to build reserves, but we do not want to, one of the initial budgets that was proposed put us with less money. We were cutting books and materials. We didn't want to do that for a few different reasons. One was staff morale. Another was the community's impression of the library. So even though we know that the largest expense is the operating costs, the building and such, what we feel that the community really feels that they're getting out of the library are those programs, services, books, materials. So it just didn't feel like a good look to say to the community, we're cutting this, which affects so many, in order to do this, which is kind of an invisible thing that we're doing behind the scenes. So we were able to increase the budget by 0.9% for books and materials, and programming and planning will also have a small increase. 3% increase applied across the board to staff members, as well as the increase in steps where they're applicable. And then even with these additions, we're still able to transfer $105,000 to the capital reserves in anticipation of the building conditions survey projects. So the tentative budget is listed here, and we are asking, once you give your questions, for a motion to approve this as the preliminary budget for presentation to the voters. Does anyone have a question?
Can I ask a quick one?
Do you have the stat there of whatever number you pick of the assessed value of the average tax increase for 200,000 or 250,000?
Yes, we do, yes. So based on last year's total taxable assessed value, because we don't have the current ones yet. In 2020. So it will be. For a $225,000 house.
Okay,
It's
great.
the
perfect.
median.
Yep.
Yep, that's the median.
That's
It's
the 200.
$218.66.
Increase.
No, that's total.
Okay.
So the increase is $4.37.
Cup of coffee.
Yes, so it's,
Okay.
and that's assuming that the taxable values stay flat.
Yeah, that's always,
Which-
yeah, I mean, it's,
Usually they increase.
Usually,
it's just a number when people get concerned about it, they'll see it, and if you can equate it to something like a cup of coffee or,
and in the public presentation,
Right.
we normally show that.
Perfect. Thank you.
I have a couple things. Number one, I came home at 1:00 Saturday morning. Sunday, I looked at this, and it was so clear, I fully understood it.
Oh, yay.
So I want
Good
to
job.
commend you on the job that you did. I read through the thing, so on, I fully comprehended it. So I think you did a great job.
Thank you.
One thing is, you said programming and planning went up a little bit, small amount, and I saw 43%. Not.
Okay.
And then the other thing is that you said the budget went up to 2.04%. The
sorry.
levies went up 2.04.
So what would in terms of revenue, we're proposing a 2.04%.
I don't know
The
what
revenue, the grand
revenue
total revenue is down 1%.
is down 1, okay.
So where would I need to change?
But just when you talk,
When you talk, yeah.
but we'd be
I'll go
happy
over that
to, we'd be
with
happy to
a
review
meeting.
this slide
Yeah, when the time
because
comes.
it's just that the
But other than
tax-
that, I think you did a great job. And I missed all the meetings, unfortunately. So, I just took it for Joe Q Public, looking at what's presented here and was able to figure it out.
Okay, well,
So it's good.
the budget committee was incredibly supportive and helpful, and they definitely told me what to present, so this was the work of the committee for
Very
sure.
nicely done.
And I have to personally apologize to Michael because I pushed really hard for the joining of all these accounts. And it became so apparent in this year's budget that we had exactly the scenario that you pointed out last year. And, because if we had included this huge cost for this exterior of the building, it would have made it look as if we were, it just would make it impossible
To explain.
to anybody. Because it's a separate fee. The voters have already approved those funds in prior years. Nobody will understand it. And I really like the way you separated it out, because I do think, in spite of the fact that it's possible somebody will say, but I thought last year, we just combined it. I think
It's very simple.
Very simple to
We
explain.
made a mistake.
We made a mistake, and we realized, this was money that you all have approved in the past, and we've been salting away for this very eventuality. And I do think it also helps support what we always wanted to do, which is to accommodate Shay's concern about just having these reserves without really knowing.
Right.
I'm glad we had them.
Yeah.
Let me just say, I'm glad we had them.
Yeah.
Because,
True.
And give it back to the taxpayer.
we
That's,
are,
that's-
we saved it,
Absolutely.
we salted it away, and now we need it.
And it's important, our plan is to have a policy in place by the end of this year so that it sets out what we use those for and how we figure out what we need to put away each year, because we need to maintain, I mean, this is not a one-shot thing, we need to maintain these reserves to sustain the library, basically.
Then the goal was that basically try and keep this building, and what we're doing is just preserving it.
Right.
And try and keep that without having to go out for a bond referendum all of a sudden to fix it.
Right. And I mean, it's gonna be hard because when we get that final report, I mean, I will be honest, never, like I thought the first number we had, the $75,000 number was like, oh my heavens, outside of a building. And, you know, the real number is like so much higher.
Well, the other thing to keep in mind is we've gone through a couple of years of very high inflation.
Yes, we have.
And that happened early in my career. And we had to go to owners and say, you know, inflation was 10, 12% last year. So if you don't do the work this year, you're gonna pay 10, 12% more, and we've hit that sort of thing again, hopefully just for a short period.
Okay,
But
any
we'll
other?
analyze the numbers, don't worry.
So, any motion to accept, anybody wanna make a motion? I think Mary does.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the draft budget
Approve the preliminary
preliminary.
2024 operating budget. 23507
To present to the tax.
for presentation to the commission. Cammy wants to say. Okay, any more discussion? Any other questions for Katie or for Jill? Great job.
Yes. Yes.
Katie, you don't get the final accolades until it passes.
I'm feeling pretty activated right now.
Well, let's wait till
I did my
September.
report cards, I did this. I'm almost ready for summer. June's almost over.
She's a teacher. It's June 20th.
Oh.
I knew one day, okay, did we vote? We didn't vote yet. No. Let's take a vote on that, motion. Okay, the vote is unanimous to
Nice.
approve it. Great job. Now we move on to the director's report.
Thank you to the committee, everyone was incredibly helpful
And thank you, I mean, I
and
think
patient.
everybody here is great. Contributors.
I agree, and I do think we had really good discussion and compromise and back and forth. I think everyone's opinion was honored.
Yeah, I mean, it was really good that everybody, you know, was part of this process. I think it made it a lot easier this session.
Well done, thank you. Okay, so, as you know, the backflow preventer is completed, almost 99% of the way. Once we have it inspected, then it'll be 100% completed.
And what GPI it is.
Yes, the engineer. Okay, we're right in the middle of prepping for summer reading, which kicks off on Monday. And we're very excited. Beyond the Beaten Path is the theme for the year. We've seen our staff wearing these great t-shirts. We're really excited about it. So a quick plug, if anybody has I'm gonna piggyback on Julianne. If anybody has a Christmas tree at home, we are trying to, it doesn't need to be decorated. We don't need any decorations. We're going to build a little campsite at the library.
You need
So
a tent?
we have a tent. We just need trees.
Would the trees be returned
The
later?
trees would be returned. In fact, you would set it up and take it down. We won't even be,
I can provide a tree.
if something happened to the tree, we would replace the tree for you, but we would love your trees. So let me know if you are interested. and I can connect you with
Like a
Catherine.
Norfolk pine, it's like this tall, would you like that for the summer?
Where do you keep it?
It's outside. but it's an indoor plant, but it's tall. I mean, it's like 4 feet tall.
I will ask Catherine.
Ask her if she wants to live
How
in it.
heavy is it?
It's on a little wheelie cart.
Oh.
The one thing,
Well,
just so
it's
you know, there's a date that they're setting them up and a date that you need to take advantage of.
Oh, yes, it's
And what are
I will
those days?
connect you with the person who's coordinating it, who is Catherine, and, so you have all the right information.
I can't put a reel in the fire code.
Well, it's a
I know
plant.
you're not putting light training on it, but I still.
Well, no, it's a plant.
If it's a
an-
small
It's
plant,
an
we could.
indoor plant. So I
Yeah.
mean, it would just have to be watered like once a week, somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
Well,
might be.
How long will it be there?
For the whole summer. Well, through the beginning of
I would clear a
August.
spot in my basement.
If you forget to pick it up, you know, yeah.
Yeah.
Whose tree is, I have no idea, yeah.
I'm sure you can go to Cracker Barrel, I'm sure you can get a new one. I'll do it early, get home, I don't have to.
And you still don't, you're not gonna accept the silver or the white trees, Jill, is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, no.
No.
We don't want a snow-covered forest,
You want a realistic.
we want a
Yeah, no,
realistic
no.
summer forest, not a winter forest, yes. So we're excited about that. We have our new head of youth services started today, so she will be with us at our kickoff on Tuesday. Our summer reading kickoff is going to be held at Janae. We have an illusionist coming. And we have almost 250 people signed up already for that.
Jeez.
Luckily, Janae holds at least 800 on the bottom. We do not want to open the balcony, which holds over 1,000. But please let people know that we do need them to register, just because we want to make sure that we have enough space for everybody.
I registered online, but I don't think I registered a parent to go with the child.
Oh, you can edit that,
Okay, I'll look into that,
That would
because
be
I know
great.
I registered for it, but
yes.
I don't think I thought to include them, no, wasn't really thinking. Because usually the kids programs is like, just the kid needs to be registered, so.
Yeah, I think we updated that after
Okay,
the
I'll-
first day we opened it, we had
Yeah, I did
so
it,
many people register, we updated that.
that was me, I was like right there at 10 o'clock, I'm like, I'm doing this, I don't wanna get locked out.
Well, it's really exciting that so many people are interested. Now, that is the same day as the primary, so it will be busy in the library. We'll still have people registering for the summer reading program here. And we'll have staff off-site as well. So if you are interested in helping out that day, if you're available, we could use help, please let me know. We could use help, particularly in the parking lot, helping with directing traffic. It's a little tricky over there. Strategic planning, we're making great progress. Thanks, Mary, for repeating on that, or for reporting on that. Really appreciate it. Had a lot of good staff. We've had a lot of great interns over the last few months. Sam just started as our intern in the adult services department and is actually just finished. And we had Whitney in the youth services department, who's also finished and just graduated and is coming on as a sub here. One of the projects that Sam worked on is to develop a guide to human services available to people in crisis in our county, Rensselaer and Albany County,
Great.
which is,
It feeds into, I thought that was interesting because it feeds right into the strategic planning.
yep, so the guide lists mental health services, substance abuse, food pantry shelters, domestic violence. Yeah, so this was a big project, gathering this stuff, because there's a lot of stuff posted in a lot of places. It's not all, up to date, and so, made sure all the contact information was up to date, and it's a great resource for us to have at the reference desk, because there's a lot of stuff coming our way. So it's a handy reference, and the next step would be, can we put it somewhere that's available to the community to search for? So that'll be, kind of a next step if we can. Biggest piece is personnel, other than all of that. We're closing out, our current construction grant is done and will be closed out. this week. We've had a lot of personnel switches and changeovers. So I will talk about that in the personnel memo though. I think that's a more appropriate time to talk about that. Programming, I did put in here, our programming in May, we had 22 programs for adults, 299 participants, 28 programs for kids, 1,333 participants, and 5 programs for teens with 48 teen participants. 1,000 books for kindergarten programs, still really successful, or still really active. There are 59 active participants this month, and we had 4 new graduates and 13 new people join, so that's really exciting. They read just shy of 5,000 books in 1 month. And the 500 books before middle school program and 100 books before graduation program, those programs just started. And so they're slowly, building. Please spread the word about those programs because they're really great programs. And we've continued, another great partnership we have is Project Blindness. And I know that you have done some quilting for Project Blindness, but it's just a really wonderful way that our community is kind of coming together, making independent squares for these quilts and giving them to people in need. And people love it. We get all kinds of, people are just saying, this is so great. Thank you for letting me do this. And it's a nice way to, it's a feel-good way to contribute and bringing everyone together. So we have a volunteer who coordinates that, Sima, and she's fabulous. So special thanks to her. I think that do you have any questions about our programming or anything that was in my report?
Did you say anything about the IT outsourcing?
No, I'll talk about that in the personnel memo, I think, because it's all kind of part of the same thing.
Are we still #1 for the library expedition visits?
I don't know. I can find out and let you know.
No worries. I was just curious.
We had a lot more, we had 1,300 more people in the building this month over May of last year. But CERC has not been this, there's slight changes in CERC, so we'll be monitoring that. More people in the building, but less borrowing. Which is
Could it be
interesting.
part
Well,
of his programs?
You start having programs and doing that kind of thing, it's good.
Using this differently. People are using this differently. The art gallery was installed in the multi-purpose room. So we started putting out some PR, encouraging the community to use the space to exhibit their art.
So is that when the room is used, I mean, people can't just like walk through there if the room is not in use? Are they locked or?
Right now, the rooms are locked. We're kind of considering the option of opening those rooms. They are open in some libraries all the time without people kind of
If you have an
monitoring.
art gallery in there and
So-
are hanging stuff, that room ought to be open.
Yeah.
Right, so we are considering doing that,
Yeah.
but right now we don't have any displays up.
And so are you intending that it would be like the hallway where people would apply for, like, and say, I'll take next?
Yes, so it'd be a month-long thing. We do have the policy, we have an exhibit policy. You guys did update the policy. So we have a process to reserve, and we would encourage people to have an art gallery opening. So, they can borrow the meeting room and do that. So even if the space was not open all of the time, they could have an opening for that set period of time, and with the understanding that this is our second gallery space and it's not going to be open except for during programs. So we're kind of going back and forth. We've had some pros and cons, but I will take your input back.
Now,
We can
that one has
try.
like rails and you hang stuff down. Do we have all the things that people would need so that they can hang their stuff?
We've been testing out. We have a partial exhibit up right now that is for a planned exhibit, and I believe it's in October that we're doing it, but we're testing it out to make sure that. it
And we
works.
ended up not doing any special lighting.
We did not do special lighting, we took the lighting out of the project. Yes. Other questions? Okay. Thank you.
Personnel?
Thank you. Okay, so personnel memo. This looks overwhelming, but it's not really. We're just not used to seeing any major changes. But I'm gonna walk you through what is on this personnel memo. First, at the top, we have a retirement resignation. Barbara Hartman is a part-time librarian in the Adult and Information Services Department, so she will be retiring August 26th. Once she retires, we will post that position. Well, we're probably gonna post it before that day since we have it, but we need to have it officially approved. We've been talking about technology, or some people have heard the full story and others have not. So it's been alluded to in this meeting, that things are happening with the IT department, digital services. What announcement? So as you know, Carrie, who's down at the, we approved her resignation last month. She was a librarian 2, head of digital services. We have since rearranged what our org chart will look like. And we have decided to replace that job with multiple jobs, all within the same budgeted amount. So there's no budget impact on these motions before you tonight. They're all within the same budget. There are some shifts because some of the personnel money will now shift into consulting. And some of it will stay here. So we have Selena Perot, currently is a library assistant, and she worked under Carrie. And she is stepping up into an IT support specialist role. So that is a newly created position. It's not a librarian position, but she has a lot of the IT infrastructure. She'll be doing all of our help desk and some of the training staff on things and managing what you probably think of as IT. That'll be done in-house. Unless you're really tech savvy. There's a whole networking component that is beyond our current skill set in-house. And so we will be consulting with outside IT for that. We have, it's not on this personnel memo, but we already have a IT consulting firm that's able to manage what we're doing right now. So at this very moment where all things are copacetic, we're doing fine. We do anticipate when some of the bigger projects come, we are going to need more outside IT support than our current consultant can provide just because of his capacity right now. So we have interviewed 3 different consulting firms and have gotten quotes, and we're still negotiating with them. So we're in a good place there. I feel like we're in a good place. Also,
Excuse me, Jules, sorry.
yes,
Are the quotes of the 3 relatively close together?
they are now.
Okay, got it. I just had that experience doing quotes for IT. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so this is not we also weren't sure exactly what we needed right now, and we are really narrowing down that scope based on the longer Selena is kind of in that role. It's what she is learning that she can do and what we anticipate that she can't do. And of course, we had a long recommendation from Carrie too, that we're working with all of that. A big part of Carrie's role that can't be done that shouldn't be done by just one person is the public piece of this. The public, having a public services librarian out there or staff member out there on a public service desk doing tech help for the public and really staying on top of trends and different library related technology. So we did post that position, a full-time, that was a librarian one position. We did post it and we did interview, but we didn't find anybody. So we've decided to change that posting to a technology assistant position. So with your approval, I will post that position instead, and we hope to have someone full-time joining the adult services desk, and that will be a public services position. So I think we're in a good spot to move forward
The
with that.
pay for that compared to a library.
It's a library assistant position.
Was that comparable or?
It's less than a librarian
Yeah.
one, yeah. Okay, so on this personnel memo, several of these are related to IT. So the classification change is Selena, and that's a change from library assistant to IT support specialist. That is an upgrade of that job position with an upgraded salary. And all of this is all within our budget for this year and the proposed budget for next year. Part-time librarian in adult services, Nate Hayer, who started on May 22nd. Karen Gottson for library clerk part-time, who started on May 25th. Whitney Gitman is a substitute librarian in the children's department, May 26th, she started. Alexis Mokler is a substitute librarian in the adult and information services department, effective June 5th. Amy McCarthy, our head of youth and family services, started today, June 20th. And then Amy Hodor, this is the year of hiring two Amy's. Amy Hodor, administrative assistant, will begin on July 5th. So we are almost full with our positions right now. For everything, we are full for everything that's posted. We have one job that we need to post. And that's the technology assistant, and we're narrowing down the scope for that. We will have to fill at the end of this, we'll be filling soon the senior library clerk position, and I did get a resignation today, but it's too late for the personnel memo for someone who's going to law school. So that resignation is the end of July, and we knew that was coming. So we'll have another library clerk position that will open up too. So there's going to be a little shift there.
Is that part-time?
That's part-time, and that's all expected. So we're in really, knock on wood, we're in good shape now with all of these big changes that happened.
Go ahead, what do you mean by substitute librarian? Like, what does that mean, substitute?
So that means they fill in if people are out sick or on vacation,
Oh, okay.
planned things, but it's not a budgeted position. We don't give them set hours. They fill in on our as needed basis.
How do
Not
they
very
know
often.
if they're working?
They
Like, how-
don't, we call them, it's like,
Like
hey,
a
any chance you're
substitute teacher
free?
type of-
Yeah, so it helps to have
All right, just wondering.
it helps
I
to have a
didn't think it was
little
that easy,
group
but
of
people. Like,
Yeah,
All
and
right.
it's helped quite a bit
Yeah.
with when there's any turnover too. To be able to jump in on, during those transitional periods to
And
have
these-
somebody in
These
there.
people, do you think they're substituting at other libraries, like a teacher would maybe here this week? And okay, all right, interesting.
And it's a good way to kind of, test people out and
Mhm.
So I just,
recruit.
I was curious with this many new people starting, and this is summertime.
Yep.
People are on vacation, or assuming people will be doing vacation, and people are on programs. Are you anticipating some type of
like, I don't know, a bump in the road kind of thing to get these people up to speed? Or you think most of these people come in with the skill sets and they hit the road?
Well, I think, so that's why we did a lot of hiring in May,
Yeah.
the end of May, so that we can get some of these people up to speed. I think the biggest challenge is gonna be in the youth services department, just because that's the busiest time in youth services. I think Amy is gonna be fantastic. I met with her before she started, and today she's jumped right in. I think she's.
I met her today and she seemed like a really nice person,
Yeah.
for what that's worth.
We're happy to have her, I think, after not having someone at the helm.
Yeah.
I think the team is really happy to have her, and
Now,
looking forward to some consistency.
the one question I want to ask is, do we have a system in place when we have all these provisional appointments for evaluations at the appropriate time?
Yes, 3 months. So these are all actually different supervisors.
Hmm.
So we're, 2 report, 3 report to me. 2 report to adult services. Yes, so
But somewhere there's a calendar
oh yeah.
that
we do
it
3
pops
months
up.
now.
We gotta do this review or something.
And that goes to civil service. So we do that, and then we do, provisional too. If they're eligible for permanent, then you do permanent. If they're not eligible, it just stays provisional.
It's probationary.
But it's a
the
probationary
probationary
period. You
period.
run the probationary
You wanna
period.
make sure you don't miss the end of it.
Yes. Thank you for the good reminder.
Okay.
Okay, so
I make a motion that we approve the personnel memo as presented.
second. Tammy, Tammy got it. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye, it is unanimous. Thank you. Thank you. Old business. The only old business I could think of was, that I just wanted you to let you know that I am still working to have follow-up meetings with these legislators. We have one scheduled with Jake Ashby next week. And I will be going to meet with him, and we did hear back from Assemblyman McDonald, and he wants to meet with us once session's over, so I thought I'd give him like a week to breathe. And I'll call him next week to schedule. I'm still waiting.
And
to
yeah,
hear
Kelly,
from
yeah, I
Kelly.
had a brief conversation with her.
Yeah, well, we're hoping to have a meeting sometime soon.
And I just say it's good that isn't in the plan in the budget. I don't want to get discouraged.
Well, that is discouraging.
No.
But in any case, we are looking forward to meeting with people and seeing and just getting on the radar, if nothing else, and about, and talking about our needs.
When can I talk coming to Jake Ashby?
Great. That's all I had on old business. Did you have any old business? Did anybody have any old business? Oh, Michael did.
I'm back,
Yay!
so it's time to get going on Skoda.
Skodak. Yes. it is.
And I talked with Jill a bit today. I'm gonna start putting something together that can become maybe a basis for discussion.
Okay,
And
I
I'm trying to do that in the next couple of weeks.
I will follow up again. I sent a letter about 2 weeks ago. I think it went out just before it went out.
And pushed it off until
Correct, but I asked him to let us know who he wanted on this group. And I didn't hear anything unless you heard something.
so I would not push it too hard until I
I'm
get
not.
something done.
No, I'm not pushing it, but I just,
Yeah.
we made it.
But
Because that was
that, I look at that as something on my list for the next
one.
week.
Thank you. Any other old business? If not, I will turn it over to liaison reports, and Julianne, you are up first.
We just had our last meeting for the break for the summer. We had a great turnout. It's insane.
It was amazing.
Yeah, we had to pull up chairs multiple
Yeah.
times. It was wonderful.
Crazy. So that's great, but I still didn't get a vice president. Trying very hard, so if anybody knows anybody who really needs the leadership to move forward in the year. As I said, it's our last meeting for the fall, so we meet again in September. The group did vote, we're going to be changing our membership categories going forward. So that now, they will no longer be based on demographics. We have the book lover, which is $10 to $49. Book collector, which is $50 to $99. The knowledge seeker, which is $100 to $250. And the benefactor, which is anything above $250. If they do, everybody has voting rights, but if they do $50 or more, they'll be invited to a friend's preview sale. So on the April sale, the spring sale next year, there'll be a friend's shopping night where only the friends members will be able to shop, and there'll be a 50 vote limit on that night. So the dealers can't come in, become a friend, and then go and buy cherry pick out. So in the past, we've only had about 70 people who donated more than $50. So we're hoping to increase that number and increase the fundraising through having these new tiers and this new benefit. So it should still be a quiet shopping night. It should be nice to reach some friends who do donate more. We'll be doing a new member campaign in October in conjunction with their fall sale. We will not be doing the friend shopping at that time. And then we do the renewals in January, will be the time that the most of the membership will find out we have these new tiers, and that we'll be doing the new special event. So we're working on that. We're also getting together over the summer to work on to get out the vote, and ways to get more people to be here, kicking around ideas of maybe a food truck night or something to get people engaged, maybe a mini book sale of some sort. We don't know yet, but we're just thinking around ideas. Potentially do to get more members, plus we'll do the emails. Jill already has something she does during that time. We're also talking about maybe having voter registration so that people fill out the form. We learn about how to get more absentee ballots. So we'll kick around different things that we can pull off at the end of August to get more people aware of how to come out and vote. So those are the big things. We did fill our membership co-chairs. We have 2 brand new chairs we elected today, and we also filled our public relations chair. So getting there. Slowly but surely. So that's kind of what's going on in the Friends world.
Nice.
Ed's not here, so I
Well,
won't.
Ed
Oh.
sent me a text just so I can read this. I'm still at work at the old county office building, trying to get the state network up for employment and training. He gives his best and apologies. Unfortunately, work comes first. I will be emailing out a town update for everyone.
Great.
Thank you. Right, I turn it over to you, Tom.
Sales tax and mortgage income tax revenue remains strong. We also want to thank Jill and the library staff and the board for allowing us to continue to use the library as a primary election location. So I have.
Is there something we can get for that?
Yeah. I don't know if that was.
Nice handshake.
The rent for that went up. Oh, Hardy har, but we're serious.
Oh, Cammy.
We had a lovely Upper Hudson annual meeting last week at Rev Hall in Troy, and Jill, Mary, and Lynn and I were there, and I just fell into the role of basically handing out all the awards to, of course, to Michael, and I have to say, the other people the other groups that won the volunteer of the year, and then the programs. I mean, it's just amazing really what's going on in other libraries. And even the programs that were nominated. I mean, people really, they love their library like more than their, I don't know, their house or whatever. I don't even know. I mean, it's just unbelievable. But I have to say, I don't know, I think Lynn had a little video, so I don't know if you saw it.
I haven't seen it.
Okay, I have the video, and thank heaven Selena helped me tonight, and she put it on the library's private YouTube channel. Does this make sense
There's
to
a
you? Yes.
private YouTube channel.
That's amazing of this, so.
Yes. Are you gonna play it now? Or you're gonna put it on, you're gonna have Michael watch it at some point,
Yeah.
but I'll have to
Do
say,
you have an iPhone?
yeah.
Okay, well, what I do is put.
Airdrop.
I airdrop it.
Airdrop it to me.
Do you want me to just quickly? Cause I have it up, my little.
What you said, yeah.
Like what I read from, okay,
Can I ask you a question?
yes, yep.
There was somebody there that was taking still shots. I think it was Judy.
Who was it?
You-
Judith,
Judith.
it was posted on the Upper Hudson Facebook
I
page,
didn't
so.
see,
Okay, so
was
she
one
would have a
posted.
still shot then of you.
Jill.
getting-
oh, yes, like, yes,
Yes.
and we had the, yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, Michael, is your phone
Here.
on?
So this is what I read, and it was a crowd of what, it was thousands. that was there that night.
There were people upstairs.
I've been to them for years and years.
Next, I have the honor of presenting the 2022 Upper Hudson Library Trustee of the Year Award. The Upper Hudson Library Trustee of the Year Award honors a member library trustee who demonstrated leadership on their board, pursued excellence for their library, and sought to help their library make a difference in the community. It is my pleasure to present the award, Trustee of the Year Award, to Michael Poos from the East Greenbush Community Library. And that was just, it was a standing ovation. It was just rounds of applause, like for a very long time.
For hours.
Thousands of people.
Cameras
Lynn,
were flashing.
can you send me-
I'm waiting,
Wait,
man.
here we go. Yep, all right. The Upper
gotta have
Hudson
some-
Library
We gotta
System.
make sure we're coordinated.
Sorry, yeah,
Okay.
I'm still reading. Salutes Michael Poos for his long and accomplished service as a trustee of the East Greenbush Community Library. Serving as an elected library trustee for more than 30 years, most of that time in a board leadership role, Michael has dedicated his time and talent to creating, maintaining, and ensuring the future of the East Greenbush Community Library. From his work on the original creation of the library district to lending his professional expertise to the design and construction of the library building, he has helped the library grow quite literally from the ground up. More recently, he has led the effort to responsibly manage library funds to allow the library to maintain the facility for future generations in the community. He has also been a leader in strategic planning, board recruitment, and mentorship of new library trustees. This honors Michael Poos for his many years of dedicated service and ensures its sustainability far into the future. And then I have to say, Jill gave a beautiful and heartfelt acceptance.
Showed it to me
Yeah.
today.
It's really,
And I have made a decision that anytime I need to make a speech, I have two speechwriters. I gotta thank you. I mean, it's so kind of you to do this, and I really appreciate it. I'm not a big speech person, but I really do appreciate it. And I appreciate all the board members that I worked with over the 30 years. And it's really been a great thing.
did you, it's a beautiful award too. It's a really
I'm gonna
nice.
present
Oh, I'm
it
sorry,
to
go ahead.
you. And also thank Lynn and Mary because they put together the nomination.
Yes.
It's a beautiful grant. Or
And I don't know if you ever
award
saw the packet that went in.
Did you?
I-
nomination. I sent it to him.
What?
I hope.
Jill sent it to me just before I left.
Could I bother somebody, because I did not bring my phone, can somebody take a photo
I
or?
can do photos, I can do.
Okay, because we have this award.
Stop it, you look.
Nice sculpture.
Okay, let's get you against,
Yeah, like a song.
Yeah,
Be a part of this.
Like, right there would probably.
Yeah.
Or you must go outside.
Right.
I was
Why don't you go by
actually-
a backfill setting?
Tammy, do you want to do it on behalf of the Upper Hudson?
No.
Okay. The Upper Hudson Libraries, is this exactly what you read?
I don't know.
The Upper Hudson Library System salutes Michael Poos for his long and accomplished service as a trustee of the East Greenbush Community Library. Serving as an elected library trustee for more than 30 years, most of that time in a board leadership role, president. Michael has dedicated his time and talent to creating, maintaining, and ensuring the future of the East Greenbush Community Library. From his work on the original creation of the library district to lending his professional expertise, this is the exact same
It's the
thing.
same thing.
Okay,
Same thing you
I don't
just
think it's anything else, but it's signed by Susan Keitel, the Upper Hudson Board President.
Oh,
I know.
Look how you guys planned it.
Match. Wow.
Planned it.
Okay, now I'll get some with just Michael.
Yes.
Okay.
Yay.
That really is, congratulations.
Bring it home.
Yeah.
You said today, do I wanna leave it here?
Bring it home, show it to your
Yes.
family, and then we will bring it back, and we're gonna hang it on our wall with our
You
other.
have the other piece
Please.
of paper.
Yes.
That's the one I gotta show you.
When
Maybe
they
she'll
go-
appreciate me a little.
This is a live meeting, but that's. She might be watching.
I can almost guarantee you she's not.
There's
She
only
went
a one there,
kayaking
you
today.
probably safe.
She came home at 6:20 and tried to cook dinner before,
Before you left, is that-
and she pulled it off.
All right, well, anything else from Upper Hudson? Was a lot.
Well, thank you
It was
very
really
much. I
nice.
really appreciate it.
And Tim did give, and at the end, Tim, who's the director, he gave some stats, but no one was really writing anything down about the expedition, yeah. But so I can email that to you guys just to see like where we are with numbers and stuff.
Okay, any other new business or any new business? No, hearing none. I will entertain a motion to go into executive session to have a discussion about employee performance evaluation. Do I have a motion? Katie, second, Mary. Time is 8:18. And with that, bye.
Thank you. Bye, Tom.
Hi, Tom.
Do we have to vote?
Oh,
Yeah.
all those in favor, oh, bye, Julianne. Bye, Jill.
I got it.
From
Do you
here.
need to sign these too?
No.
I-
Can Jill be a second?